lifuna umpho ayomqeqeshela lona. It's like amadlozi aya-connect before we connect. Lizokuyisa lapho kumpho. Selikhulumile nabakampho ukuthi nangu umntwana simlethayo. Sicela umpho asikhulisele because mina umntanenu sekayidlile impande, sekakhulile angisho. And they are able to facilitate the progress. Akhulise lo ongeza umadlebe lona wethu. You know, then that's what happening. Bese uyakhula edlozini and you become named uthola igama lakho ledlozi, be it you being named after idlozi lakho or you get idlozi igama elisha. It depends nakhona ngamadlozi because kwabanye amadlozi they normally keep the name going due to, you know, certain things. You find it's like Martin Luther Jr., Martin Luther III, it's always that thing. And then kwabanye amadlozi it's different names, 1660 at different times. So it's always that case. So you hear someone saying, yeah, what's it saying? No, you cannot talk to people's ancestors like that. You cannot tell Idozi no muntu guti in it. You can tell someone guti yes guti because I need you in your spirit being. I need you in your spirit form, not guti bizum kulako. Do you think mina? I mean, come on now. Umkhulu kungambiza ukuthi azelana so that wena uzoquluka ukuthi izolo udlijem or ukuthi uzoquluka ukugobela lakho ukuthi izolo benugruva. Umkhulu ukuthi yebo kakhulu usayifikile njalo. You should know because indoors are trained ukuthi lisho zonke lezi zinto lezi. Umuntu osuka asho lezi zinto lezi ulo osekathasile lo ofundiswa zonke lezi zinto lezi ukuthi makafika go uye loyo osuka lapho. You are in spirit, you are having an out of body experience because what, you're a spiritual being. But no man, people should start being actors and actresses and understand ukuthi kunomuntu onedlozi bese kunedlozi. You know, those are two different things. Come on, good people, you feel it. Like now we are feeling and you just feel because everything, it's like time stands still. Oh, beautiful people, I wish we understand. Hey, my God, my father, my God, oh, idlozi into enhle, into powerful, into enamandla, and I see into yanoma ubani ubani. That is why kunabantu bayothatha namhla abafundise ukuthi babe sedlonile entshela nizositshela amanga nizosihlona isitsho ukuthi masilala siphatha inhloko vele ngiphatha inhloko ngabila ngakho bengifaka iwiki vele. But I mean, ezinye izinto we need to like, you know, our African ways are so beautiful. Mesingazimoshi guys, amadlozi asipha ithuba futhi ukuthi sizilungise thina siqalele phansi ekuqaleni, right? So it's one of those things that you need to understand. Even now when you ugobela, you are receiving a child. Uwazi ukuthi amadlozi aloyo muntu loyo asuke atrasta ngaloyo mntwana loyo. Not ukuthi uzothwasisa inkomo yahlaba. Honey, inkomo yahlaba waphuza waphakaza. Bye. That's it. And then when they were under the slaves, that's not how we say it. You understand? So now, there's a difference between you being in a trance and you because when you're in a trance, there is when you was Busholamara station, Lao, when you are able to do all those things. But one thing it was can come, it was like al kulumi, it was like it doesn't act like you, it was like, you know, will speak different ways, it was like guys, and guys, hey, and man, things are deep out here. So it's one of those things that we need to understand that go on in the spiritual, you know, space. But I think it's topic that as much as Ilozi will allow me the time and give me that platform because I feel it's one of those things as Izoba, you know, contradicted. And for a long time people be like, but Ilozami is not showing me anyway. And in Kombi anyway Ilozam. It's because of trust issues. It was like trust issues, darling, and there's nothing wrong. These days, amanga, you know, it was like does not want you to hambo uyofunda amanga or uyofunda uthakathi. Likuthatha esikolweni lokufaka nje esikolweni samanga. That is why amadlozi literally take their time. So it's important to be patient because in the meantime, as a spiritual person, you need to be able to, you know, maneuver around the spiritual things. We are tandaza. Every now and then you do certain things, because nezipho zethu azifani and how we grow is akfani. That is why sometimes even if you're feeling lost, at least get someone, excuse me, that is gonna mentor you. So I'll have me over when you no, you don't do that. You know, fishing those up. Like to hide your things, because I want to speak because like it deep kakhulu. That's why I know abanye want to watch this and be like, what the hell? Or some other people be like, oh, but I don't care. I'm here for the truth, honey boo boo. I'm here for the truth. That is why she is advocate. She is the advocate that she thinks she is, because there is truth, you know, amongst all of these things that are happening, you know. So I don't want you to feel lies, because that is why even it goes to an extent whereby you'd find Amy Gideon is coming to it. Hey, yes. Test up sangoma bakhulana nomkenke. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. There's a difference between thing is now everything is out there. Amanga agcwele, guys, but you need to identify uzazi as a person who's umeguphi. But if nisesekhona ninensalandela amandlozweni enisawathobela, good for you. I can say ngisabanje ngokugwayedlozi mina, because that thing is, it cripples me, it messes up my week. It's just something else. Nyasaba, you know, nyasaba. Honestly, nyasaba, you know, because I know Guti is a deep thing, I understand that, but when it happens, it happens. So no Guti ekaya, if there's no that support system, and maybe you're watching this to university, or it's important to speak, tell people around you. These days, like, oh, isn't those spirituality, accessing this thing I feel, just tell people around you. This moment I'm gifted, so ninga mind is some days when I'm feeling like this. Sometimes not necessarily Guti, you know, you wanna or something or whatever the case might be, but maybe more khalile or you're gonna end up feeling better, because now what happens is that you lessen the mood swings, you lessen the depression, because you are releasing. You're a spiritual person, so anytime all these things come, there's an overload of energies in your system and you need to release, and the only way you need to release is that right? So even when it comes to I think I touched on this in the video I did. It's always about energies. Everything is energy. You are aligning your energies, baby girl. Now you understand that. I even did a video, I think on my Instagram. I was making a joke about there's nothing so stressful about like that. Like what's like I don't understand. Like because they can and just because they can, I feel so fihlela yena ukuthi uzolubekade ini hayi shemna abuzana nina zangoma ezinkulu. But anyway, so it's one of those things that will just train you. It's part of everything, but it's just that I'm here to break down the spirituality into a more, you know, level that you can understand it and understand why do we do certain things and why do we go through certain things, why do they have to hide all these things, even though it's annoying. I hated that part. Whoa, I want somebody new, I'll never forget her. Fidel suka spend ngaphansi kwebhayila kuye anginashema ngabona lapho ngathi hayi mangabe kunje ukutrasta ngokutrasta vele angisafuni vele ngabuye kuthi ngantshana manje ngathi mangabe khona ukuthi othi shoda in umkirimano umzara amaro in ngizozihambela mina ngeke mina ngiyofihlela brown cause mina but it gets stressful like that. So it's one of those things that are there. So this is just a part 1 video of what I've been dissecting. So do leave your comments down below and do subscribe and like my video and etc. And I will be back very soon with a part 2 of this video. And but thank you so much guys for your support and everything else in between. I appreciate each and every one of you. But for me, Badimo, the advocate of Idlozi, like, oh my Lozi, I'm signing out. See you later.
Tamazani, I am Badimo and I welcome you to my channel, and thank you so much for choosing to view my video. Today I'll be talking about misdiagnosis, especially when it comes to the calling and everything else around it, because all these things happen and we never really get to address them or realize how far or how serious it can lead, and it is very common these days. And I do not also want you looking at this video to feel as though your life is at the end or you are not going to make it of whatever it is that you're going through, because misdiagnoses happen at all times. But what I want you to know, that amadlozi are our parents and they love and they care for us, and they know everything about us. They know our DNA, they know where we're going, they know where we're coming in. And that is the whole concept around having amadlozi, because they are there to guide us, to lead us, to direct us, to show us what to do, where to go, how to stand, in terms of life. So now, I think, as abantu bamnyama, have been brainwashed to think as though amadlozi are a group of people that are out to get us, that are out to snatch our wigs, that are out to just be savage on our lives. And that isn't the case. Amadlozi are our parents and they always want the best for us. But now, what happens in the case of a misdiagnosis, whereas you go for a consultation and you're being told you have a gift? I did try to reiterate this in a previous video I did, speaking about the calling and a gift. We all come gifted umasizala emhlabeni, but how our parts differ, it's when we have a calling or whatever the case might be. So what happens in the case of you have a gift and that was misdiagnosed as you have a calling, and you find yourself almost Etwatwa, and gosh, that road is very, very lonely. It is very stressful, because once you go down that road, you never make it out. Because what I want you to be aware of, right? Idlozi is not a scam, but a scam is something, or rather someone, pressuring you into ukuvuma ubizo nawe self ongalizwa noma ongalifili. Because you are born ngalendlela oyiyo, you are born gifted, you are born a healer. It shows in your upbringing as you are growing. No, this one has got a particular calling. Because at that time you're receiving your spiritual awakenings in your life, all these things are being identified, right? And as you now mature and whatever, then it now sees fit that it's now time for you to accept your calling. So what happens is that when we go for consultations and all these things in between, is that you become threatened, you become told that you're gonna die if or your twasa, or all these other things and all these other things, and it can get very, very, very stressful. I do not want to lie, because at the same time you're trying to find help, but when you trying to get help, you're being scared into getting the help. That must be tricky. I've been there down myself. I've been told numerous times that if you don't swasa, you're gonna die. Wah, wah, wah. And honestly, all of that, I can boldly switch in today and tell you that that is nonsense. Amadlozako will never kill you. I mean, why kill you when they want you to fulfill a purpose, when unomsebenzi omuhle kanje waiting for you? Imagine if these lozis killed me. But it is them being strict and firm and trying to show you, would say, now it's time for you to answer your calling. So people often feel trapped, or rather fall trapped, because you're being told that you're gonna die, you're gonna this. You will never die, because of no reason. You will never die. But now the problem that is very common these days is that mental disorders, and our spiritual ways tend to have blurred lines in between them. Because I always say, I think, or I wish ukuthi abogobela would have a greater understanding when it comes to our mental disorders, because some other people bangene phehlweni uthola ukuthi umuntu is suffering from a mental disorder, and because they are seeing, they're hearing things, automatically you're thinking that lelo idlozi. Was that person born a healer, or they are going through things and they are having a mental disorder, or rather there's certain things they're going through, or sometimes even midlife crisis? There are some people facing good people, that they rather opt to go to Bahamba Twasa, or someone that has, is going through a lot, but alternatively, what is at their hand, Uguta Twasa, because honestly, the misconception is that Oma Nenze Kaya obviously someone Uzo Twasa. No, get that out of your mind. Sometimes there's nothing wrong ukulandelela izinto zakini ezisiko ezedlozi, because it is like that. Ezakini at the end of the day. And then that is common, that is a fact, but not in 2021. Every household has a lie. Every household. So, but what I'm trying to say to you is that you can go about your spiritual life. The whole point of connecting namadlozi and understanding what is going on is because now we are remembering, honoring our forefathers. These are not or whatever the case might be, because you might hearing someone say, I'm going to church and I also do believe in amadlozi. Whose ancestors are those? Are those mine or those yours? And why are you trying to be... You don't have to explain anything. You want to explain that you're remembering your mom. You want to explain that you're remembering your grandmother. Because even in these churches, these cults, whatever you want to call them, they believe in these founders that started these churches, and they still believe in them, and they still pray, they call their names. So they do honor ancestors. It's just that you're being told that don't honor your ancestors, so I honestly don't want you to feel bad wherever you are for not wanting, whatever the case might be. Isn't those angels? It's nothing to be ashamed of. The main point is that you're making it look dirty because you're lighting a candle and shooting pepper and we are cool. That is a form of respect. That does not mean that is a god or whatever the case might be. You can get to people that have come before us. That is why they are ancestors, and there's absolutely nothing wrong. And the misconception we have as an African people is that no, all of these things that we're doing, whatever you want to call it, that is the power of manifestation that you're doing. Every day you're reminding your spirit of what it is you want, and you are aligning everything with the universe. So ungaphahla kayi 530 amakhandlela wakho azathatha shape aphenduka ubuso Beyonce. But what I'm trying to say to you is that no amount of candles will manifest into oifunayo if wena ngokukwakho emoyani you are not aligned with what you want. Because you can say today, I want impilo right, I want this, but there's so many things trapping you or holding your life. Whereas it was saying, how am I supposed to give you 1, 2, 3 when you still have A, B, C in your life, and you're still keeping 1, 2, 3 as your friend, and you're still having John as your partner, and you're still having Mary as your partner, and you're still stuck in this mindset, we should just get it out of our heads, because that is why there's so much desperation, I mean it's sad. I don't honestly want to lie. If people understood their spiritual power and spiritual intelligence, come on, that's where today would be literally empty. Because everything and anything that you have, and what happens when you start walking the path of living is that you are attracting what is already yours. So now some people get lost, but because we never plan, or rather, want to listen or be guided when it comes to that is why and honestly, it's not magic. If you're looking for magic, Google magic, because it is not magic. You are just honoring Amadoza. For you to take that $500 and be like, let me buy that chicken, let me buy that thing. Because what Amadoza would do, they align you, they protect you. Because you can't be saying, go rights and do not pili rights and not because it was like a will guide you, how show you good. Point B. You need to, lose 1, 2, 3. You need to do this. You need to do that for yourself. So I don't want you to look at young Elendrozi and misunderstand it and think it's something a job. Oh manga pahlanga lamadlozi. Oh gosh, they waiting there. No, it's not every day I want to talk to my mom about everything, but you should know that whatever the case might be, that is your safe space. That is where you're going to breathe spiritually. That is where you're going to offload. You understand that? So even it comes to misdiagnosis, when it comes to mutahabe and the whole route and come back and you can't do anything. I always say this: you cannot teach someone to be a healer. We are a patient to already see what is there to be harnessed or eliminated. Because you can't come back and say I'm savings or I'm piwang abantu or whatever the case might be, because I mean, would you leave your warm fuzzy bed? Would you leave your wig at home for you to go around barefoot like you came calm in someone's house for you to come back and say, yeah? No. Let us be realistic sometimes. Even when people are being admitted into these training institutions, you need to evaluate these people. Sometimes in accent, someone can better they are schizophrenic. You understand that? Who has multiple personalities, they are able to act. They are able to because now everything is out there. People can fake a trance, can fake being Elozini. You might go to but a person who's got multiple personalities, or someone who's got bipolar. But because the support systems in our families and what tends to lead us astray, sometimes desperation, Nazi to a certain extent, because you feel the solution to my life with Twasa. If I can just give it to you in a minute or so. You are broken, right? You're trying to find your path. It's bad, going through the ups and downs, you're depressed, and then have to go to your Twasa. Figure Twaseni, it's depressing. There's emotional, there's physical, there's mental, there's spiritual abuse. You come back at Twaseni, you have traumas, you need to heal. So it means that